Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Lone Oak. It's another early start in the morning and it was a late night finish as well last night. By the time I'd finished spraying and got all the equipment cleaned off and locked away, it was about 11 o'clock at night, so not had a huge amount of sleep. I've had about 6 hours, which I suppose, isn't bad really when we in the middle of busy season. But all of our fields are now, fertilised. Let's just take a quick look. You can see that all of our crops here have been fully fertilised now. Just a couple of little patches where I've been a little bit careless with my spraying, but it's very thin lines. It's not worth trying to attach those. And obviously we've put a second stage on our grass field here, thanks to weeding it yesterday as well. So what's on the agenda for today? Well, more rain, and it did turn up quite late last night. It turned up around about sort of 8-9 o'clock in the evening while I was finishing off the spraying. So we've still got some moisture, some dampness to our crops, as you can see in the top right corner there. We've got the damp symbol showing next to our weather symbols. And we have more rain on the way today, so again that's going to cause problems when it comes to trying to do harvesting over here, and it's also going to cause, when it comes to doing bale work, and it also means I can't really do much hay work on our other field either. So we're kind of at a loss for things to do today. I suppose I could cultivate the field that we harvested yesterday, field number 43. But what I am going to do is I'm going to head over to the sheep farm, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to need a new bale this morning. So let's jump in and make our way over. This thing always accelerates really quickly. There we go. So we topped up the water when we cleaned the troughs out yesterday, but they'll have used up some, so we may as well top them up again today. Seeing as the trailer's already in place, we'll just back it up and give it a quick, a quick once over. We'll clean out the pit, because that again will need to be tidied. It's been nearly 24 hours since we did that last, so that's going to need to be tidied up. And on top of that, as I say, we're going to need to give them another bale, because they're going to be almost out of food now. They've got to be down to their last couple of 100 litres of food. So definitely going to need a full bale. And we can also perhaps look at maybe potentially selling some wool, depending on what the price is like. I would imagine the best price for wool is probably going to come later in the year when it gets a little bit colder, and people can make woolly jumpers and things like that. I would have thought that would have been the best time, but who knows? The market could be quite generous to us, so I guess we'll find out the nearer we get. Let's just whiz our way through these fields here. And we've been blessed with more mods recently, one of which I absolutely adore, and that is the Big Brute Sprayer. It is a model made by Black Sheep Modding that is, based on the Welker Farms sprayer. Welker Farms map has finally been released by Mapper's Paradise. It's a genuine farm run in Shelby, Montana, and Mapper's Paradise have been working with the Welker family to turn that into a farm sim map that's now available. There's a geo specifically for that map as well, the Shelby, Montana geo, and one of their pieces of equipment, because they are a map that's famous for big buds, or a farm that's famous for big buds. They have two of their own, and they recently set a world record, I think it was, for having 4 big buds in operation during planting season, where they called in some friends with their own buds to run 4 separate buds, all planting on the same field. They also built and made their own Big Bud sprayer out of a case sprayer. They heavily converted it and turned it into a Big Bud sprayer, which they then christened Big Brute. And Black Sheep have made a replica of that as a mod, and it is fantastic. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Great looking mod. Works really well. I like the fact that despite the huge wheels on the back, it's been pre-coded with narrows for crop destruction purposes, so you can use it without worrying about causing huge amounts of damage to your fields, which is great. Love that. And it's a relatively small mod in terms of file size as well. It's only about 17 meg. We've seen some vehicles that are massive in comparison, and even just single pieces of equipment that are huge. That's only 17 meg, but it doesn't mean it's a poor quality mod. It's a very good mod. I absolutely love it, and I think I might be investing in one of those for this farm later in the year or beginning of next year, depending on whether I can raise enough money. It's going to cost me about 200,000, and the trade-in value on our current sprayer is negligible, maybe 15 grand at the most, so not a lot. But here we are at the sheep pen. You can see, yeah, we've got a little bit left in the trough, but it's looking very, very empty. So let's break out the bobcat so we can clean up the trough, and then we'll drop another bale in as well. Let's get the engine going. I'm trying to think what our plan of action for today is going to be. I suppose I could have had a lie-in, really, thinking about it, but never mind. Maybe I'll just get an early night instead. I think, realistically, cultivating is the only job we're going to have to do today. I am going to take a quick check over to the BGA as well, because our bales will be ready, I think, later today. We'll be able to actually sell some of those, I think. Yeah, it'll be sort of late afternoon, early evening by the time we get to do that, but hopefully we'll be able to start doing that. So what I'll probably end up doing is taking out some money on a loan. You can see our debt has rocketed up to about $82,000, and that's because of the money I spent buying liquid fertilizer for the sprayer while I was working on fertilizing our soybean crop last night. So the debt has gone up even more. So I'm going to have to take out a fair old chunk. I'm going to have to take out about $85,000 so that I can buy a Wopster and I can start scanning things. But that will at least be able to tell me exactly what's going on with my silage bales. I won't have to just kind of, guess and see what happens. What do I need? Oh, I need to top up the water, don't I? That's what I was going to do. I could have used the truck for this, never mind. And I still need the bobcat, because I need that for a bale. There we go, that's the water trough retopped. I think we might have stopped producing wool, or at least if we are producing wool, it's slowed right down, which seems a bit odd. Again, I would have thought summer would have been the time when we would make a lot of wool, but apparently seems to have slowed down a little bit. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So let's quickly drop the bucket. There we go, and let's pick up our bale spikes. So if you remember back to the beginning of the first video, I did say that this was a manual spike rather than an auto load spike, so that I can pick up bales one at a time rather than driving close to the stack and picking up 3 by mistake, which is never a good thing when you need only 1 bale. So let's unfold the spikes, grab our one and only bale. Ooh. We'll have to pick that up again in a moment. It's a good thing we've got a really good turning radius in here. We don't have to worry about constant tiny little back and forth motions, a little bit like Austin Powers stuck in the corridor in the first movie. Really is tight in here. There's so little space to do anything. Let's try and change the camera angle a bit. Actually, let's move in on the front spikes. That might be a bit easier. Oops. The only problem with skid steers is that they tend to lurch in the direction you were pointing when you change direction. So if you're pointing, reversing to the left, then when you drive forward, you immediately start driving forward in the same direction as you were originally facing. You have to be careful sometimes, it can be a bit fiddly. But there we go, let's just squash that up a little bit more. There we go. Put the spikes back down, because we're not going to need those now for another couple of days. Reattach the bucket, ready for next time. There we go. Let's spin on the spot. I do love the turning radius of these things. There we go. And once again, we'll raise the arm so that we can actually open the door and get out of this thing. There we go. Right. Let's just take a quick look at our sheep information panel now. And there you can see health is looking good. 87% we're up to now. Still at 58 sheep. We're outside of breeding season now. Won't get any more sheep now till spring next year. But the cleanliness is looking good because we've just tied it up after them. They're full on water. They're full on hay and grass. Everything with our sheep is looking tickety-boo and hunky-dory. So we don't need to do anything with them for a little while now. Let's make our way over to Manning's, because I also need to sit down and have a chat with the dealership about potentially getting a new combine. I want to arrange for a demo if at all possible. Now we're not going to be doing any harvesting today, which is good because we've got to get that model shipped in. It's not like it's just sitting in the courtyard waiting for us. So if we make the arrangement today, you can see, actually no, we've got good weather forecast for today, haven't we? So the rain I was looking at is actually for tomorrow, so maybe we can actually do some harvesting today. I don't know, but I'm thinking Friday is a day that we'll arrange for pickup of a demo model, because Friday we'll be able to do some proper harvesting. You can see we've got good weather forecast for Friday, so let's sort that out in a moment. But here we are at the BGA. Just want to check first of all that all my bales are here, and I did hear that somebody lost a load of bales. They just disappeared. So all mine are still here, as you can see, all 144 of them, 6 complete stacks stacked on top of each other. So we've got 2 stacks high, and there's the second stack, and there's the third set of stacks. So all 144 bales are still there. I have absolutely no idea how far along they are in the fermentation process, but I would imagine they've got to be over 60% by now, maybe even a little bit higher than that. So we need to get hold of a wopster, which means taking out a lot of money just to be able to spend $3.5 grand on a wopster. But luckily there is a cash point at Manning's, so while we're there chatting away to the dealership, we can also arrange for some fund transference, and we can purchase a wopster, which Manning's should have in stock. So let's just park up here. Excellent. Right, so just going through the service door. I think this is the way to get to the sales office. Oh no, service office is through here, through the parts department. So yeah, I'm going to speak to the service team in here, and I'll catch up with you once I've had a chat with them. Okay, so spent the last couple of hours thrashing out some details and speaking to the service manager. He has arranged for me to lease, well, I say lease, he's going to send a demo combine out for me, and the one we've been discussing is this one here, the Axial Flow 7130, and they will also be providing this 35-foot header to go with it as well, along with a trailer. So that will be arriving on Sunday, the second day of autumn. Now, I did think initially about getting it for Friday, but I've only got a couple of fields that need to be done, and I can potentially get started on those today. So I decided to wait until Sunday because then the soybean crop should be ready and I should be able to start harvesting. Plus, if I need to, I can then carry over to Monday as well to make sure that those 3 fields of soybean crops get done. I've also got my Wopster, as you can see, so I'm just going to quickly head back over the road to the BGA. We're going to scan our bales and see what kind of percentage level they're at. It's cost me a lot of money to be able to buy a $3,500 Wopster. So my bank debt now stands at $455,000. Quite pricey. However, this is going to pay a lot of that off. So let's start scanning and see these bales. Oh, look at that. Less than an hour to go. We can actually attack these a little bit later. Oh, some of these, look here, 6 hours to go on some of these. So as we move further along, 4 hours on that one, less than an hour on that one, but you can see that they're all 4,000 litres, and this is because of the way that we baled and then wrapped after just a couple of passes. Now if I'd left, obviously you can see the time difference in how long some of these bales have got to go before they're fully fermented. The stacking bonus that we have, the time difference is because of how long it took from when the bales were first wrapped to when the last bales were first wrapped. But because we baled them and then wrapped them very quickly from between baling them and then getting them wrapped, there was very little time delay. It meant that all the bales kept their full integrity. They didn't start to degrade. So they're all 4,000 litres by the look of it, which is good, which means we'll get the maximum amount of money for those. And hopefully we'll be in a very strong financial position when we come to sell those. It said 6 hours left on some of those, so I think we'll come back to the BGA a little later this evening, around about sort of 6-7 o'clock in the evening. We'll bring the Puma with a rear weight and the auto load fork so that we can unload them into the shredder 3 at a time, and we'll shovel those straight into the plant and see just how much money we can generate. I'll also be curious to see how much digestate we get from 144 bales as well. I'm hoping it's going to be quite a nice good amount. But one of the other things I was looking at while I was in the dealership was arranging for a slurry spreader to be delivered to the dealership. That will arrive tomorrow, so we'll have to pay for that tomorrow when it arrives, but it will be there ready and waiting for us. And when we get back to the farm, I'll show you the one that I've ordered. It's a Joskin, and I've also ordered a front tank as well, just to boost our capacity a little bit so that we can hold a little bit more digestate per run. So let's just whiz back to the farm here. And when we get in, I think I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to start harvesting and baling our straw. We'll be able to do some bales, and the rest we'll have to make sure that we'll probably have to work into the night. Actually, you know what? I just don't know. We'll do one field. I think if we just do the one field, we should be okay. So let's park the truck up here out of the way, because we're going to need to poodle around a little bit later on. So let's break out the combines, start clearing that field off. We'll do the wheat field because that's the one that's closest to us and the one that's going to cause us the most issues the longest we leave it. So we'll get that one out the way, and then we'll do the barley on Friday, I think. Hey, you never know, our sunflowers might be ready by Friday as well. Alright, so now I need to kind of figure out which direction I'm going to go, and I think I'm going to go across the field rather than sort of up and down the field. I think that might be a more practical solution. Let's just check, am I able to... no, I'm not. Oops, wrong button. There we go. So now I'll be able to spread straw. Let's unfold. There we go. Let's start attacking. I might actually have to put a headland in because of those telegraph poles. We'll see. Might just do the headland at the end. But there we go. That's the first of our straw being created. It's going to be a while before this field is done. It's going to take a long time to bale this field as well. Plus, don't forget, we can only make some 40-something bales. We've got 7 bales of hay left, and 144 bales, so that's 151. We've got 49 bales available to us on our 200 bale limit. So yeah, we will easily make that off this field, I think. Plus, you know, plus a lot more. We'll have to sort of break off baling, I think, go and sell some of these bales, some of the bales at the BGA, and then come back and finish baling our straw field. There we go, hooked up. Lower the back piece there so we can generate straw on the back, and I want to cut across just here. Oh, I need to unfold the combine, don't I? There we go. There we go. So we'll cut the field in half. Oops. Worker does not want to work this close to the building. Can't say I blame him, really. You know what the AI is like. There we go. So we'll cut the field in half like this, and then we can go up and down that section of the field if we need to. It kind of looks like one big field, doesn't it? It's because you can't quite see the road that goes between them, the little pathway. There we go. Now you can see the break in the field there between the wheat that we're on and the barley on the next field. But I'll work a border around this bottom section so that we're clearing around the edge of that shed there, and we'll have some nice smooth runs. Actually, I might just keep going widthways on this, I don't know. One thing I am going to do though is I'm going to put a headland in at this end of the field, so I need to be careful how I do this. I also want to do this without creating a straw swath. And this is again just to give me a little bit of turning room, so we'll just create an extra width into the field here. And I'm looking at how quickly that count is going up after just one pass. These are going to need to be emptied an awful lot, I think. An awful lot indeed. Because we're so close to the farm, I'm not going to bother with the truck on this field. I'm just going to run back and forth with the chaser and empty that directly into the silo. There doesn't seem to be much point loading into a truck here when the silo is literally just the other side of the shed, so it's not that far to go. I'll put a headland in at the other end of the field as well if I can get to the combine before it gets started. Just need to stop it at this end. There we go. Let's see where he tries to pick up from. Is he going to go all the way back? Oh, he is. Just about, or not quite. I just dumped a little bit of straw on the end there. Let's... I've got to be really careful here because it's really tight against that cable. There we go. I'm going to switch these over. So let's drive this one across the top from now on. Careful not to back into the barley there. There we go. And back to this combine. and then we'll use this to clean up the bottom edges. Yeah, this is already over half full. And you can see we're at a bit of an angle here where the ground slopes. I think that bit where it starts to fall away, I think that's where I'm going to roll the field into when it comes to prepping it next time. So we'll have quite a big dirt boundary on this side of the road as opposed to that side. I was looking at the boundary on that side when I was creating this one and trying to use that as a guide point, and I think that's why it's ended up so narrow a width. And there we go, that'll give us a little bit of extra wiggle room over there. The other combine should be dropping straw. It is. So to quickly double check that. So now what I need to do is just tidy up this edge here. And again, I'm going to do this without creating a straw swath, just so I can clear out this corner section here. And clean this up because I'm a little worried about that equipment being there. So I just want to clean that line up a little bit like that. There we go. Bring this around, turn it around. And then cut back up here. And the reason I'm doing this is twofold. One is just so it's easier for the AI worker, and B, so that it's also easier when it comes to try and row up this straw. Because these rows are going to be so narrow that it would take forever to run up and down on each of these individual rows of straw with a baler. So we'll run the swadrow over it first to group them all up, make it much quicker and easier to bale the field. There we go, got a nice clean section there. So let's re-enable the straw swath. There we go. Spin this back around and away we go. Worker will finish that section of the field for us, hopefully, while this one runs up and down over here. 5,000 litres in there already. There's the 80% warning. I need my Magnum, and I need it pretty quick. Of course I haven't got that door open. We'll drive out this way instead. Cut around the front. I repositioned the chaser over here because I'm thinking ahead to storing a header trailer in the big space around the corner where this originally sat. They're much deeper bays, and I think I'm going to need that for a header trailer. Right. Am I going to be facing the right way to tag the combine? I honestly don't know. I know I'm not on this one. I don't think I'm going to be on the other one either, for that matter. Oh, and that one's flashing as well. Look, they're both threatening to be full. Alright, what's the fill level like? That one will be fine. How about this one? That one's not going to make it. Just dump a pile of straw out on the end. There we go. And I'll stop this one when it gets to the end and turns around so that I can empty this one as well. These things really are filling up quick. That's the difference between a low yield crop and a high yield crop. And it's not worth as much money, but it fills up the combine so much quicker. I mean, look how little we've done with either of these combines really compared to the work we did on the canola field yesterday, and already they're both full. We're going to end up with a very big yield of wheat off this field, and we already have a fair bit of wheat in storage as well, so it end up quite a lot in our storage bin. Right, there we go. Right, let's empty these combines and then we can get them back on the grain. Start with this one. a little while to empty, don't they? Not the fastest of transfers. It's so much more work involved when you're using small combines compared to larger combines. They fill up so quickly. They take a while to unload because they don't have, high velocity auger pipes. They're just, especially when you're working a crop like this. And then of course you've got the hassle of having to row up all the straw afterwards when you're working on a field of wheat or a field of barley, because their working width is so narrow. They're spitting out really thin rows of straw. So a lot more work involved using combines like this compared to a much larger combine like the one we're going to be leasing for the beginning of autumn. They're a lot more labour intensive, and with a much smaller working header, it just takes so much longer to actually get through the field. Our other combine's going to have a header that's twice the size of these two put together. Well, not quite twice the size of them put together, but certainly bigger than both of them put together. It's a 35-foot header. It'll chew up the grain so much quicker. Let's just see just how much of a difference. These are 14-foot headers, and I'm going to get a 35-foot header. So yeah, it's going to be bigger than the pair of these two combines put together. And I won't have to worry about rowing up all the straw or anything afterwards either. It'll be nice and simple. So much more efficient. But it's fun to mess around with smaller combines every now and again, so that's why we're still running them for the moment. Time will come, as I say, when we'll need to get rid of them because they just won't be up to the job. Although I may keep one. I may possibly keep one just for when we move on to some of the smaller fields with the really narrow gates and difficult access. Thinking we keep one of them, we can use it for those fields. It's just trying to then, write off, or find another 100,000 in cash to compensate for the loss of a trade-in. I brought the Swadro out to get it ready, and somebody pointed out in the comments that you can actually change the width on this. I'd completely missed that fact. I had no idea I could actually do this. So you can actually widen the working width of the Swadro, which is going to make so much difference going forward. It's going to make this so much more practical. I had absolutely no idea I could actually, extend the working width like that. So I just want to say a big thank you to Anders Bohr for that. I had absolutely no idea I could do that, and that's going to save a lot of hassle and a lot of headaches going forward. Alright, so this is almost full, so we may as well go and empty it now because we've only got 3,500 litres of storage left in it. So yeah, let's just quickly drive across our little weed patch here. There's our silo. And this is why there's absolutely no point with the truck. We're so close. I can literally just drive in. I'm a little bit too close. I need to back away a touch. There we go. Straight into the grate there. Actually making some pretty decent time on this field. I mean, it's not a big field. It's certainly not anywhere near the size of our canola field. But it's the straw that's going to be the time-consuming work in terms of windrowing it and then baling it and then taking those bales for sale. Actually, that's something we could do. Instead of having to wait to sell bales at the BGA, those silage bales, we can just sell off however many straw bales we make. I am toying with the idea of keeping some, but I think I'll wait till we do the barley. think that's going to be a more practical idea, is to wait until the barley is harvested, and then if we, we'll have sold the silage by then, and then if we do decide to break into cows later this year, which I'm hoping to do, even if it's only just a few, just a small number of cows, like 20 cows, then at least we'll have, straw bedding enough to get us through the rest of the year and into the, sort of the summer of next year as well. One mod that I really wish that we had on console that hasn't made it across is the ability to buy bales, so that when we are doing animals, we don't have to either cook the farm to start with by working it outside of seasons, storing everything that you're going to need and then starting seasons, or just waiting until you've been able to harvest all the relevant materials that you need throughout your first year to then kind of bring the animals in the second year. It's not so bad with grass, because you can do a quick mow of the grass regardless of waiting for crops to grow. Your grass will always be there in regular mode, which is how I managed to get those hay bales prepped and ready when I brought the sheep in. But when it comes to harvesting a field like this, you've got to wait for the field to grow. In some cases you even have to plant it if you haven't got the right crop on the field, and then you have to pay for all the seeding and the cultivating and the fertilizing, and wait for it to grow and do the harvesting, and then do all the wrapping, the baling, and it's a lot of work just so you can start with cows. It would be so good if we could just buy a dozen or so straw bales from the store. I mean, that's been available to PC players for ages and ages and ages and ages, and it still hasn't made its way over to console. And it's one of the mods that I think we should have, and I really hope that that's going to be a feature that we'll be able to get as standard in Farming Sim 19. I mean, we've seen the ability on Sussex Farm to be able to buy slurry and buy manure. And you can now buy bales, I think, as well. I think you can buy straw bales as well. And it's great that we've got a map maker that's actually experimenting with what's possible on consoles, and constantly looking to push the boundaries a little bit and bring these features across to us, and in the hope that maybe they become default features in the next console game. But whether that or not that's going to happen or not, we just don't know yet. It's Giants have been very, very tight-lipped about the next game and what's going to be in it. We know that there's a few new pieces of machinery going to be in there, and obviously John Deere is going to be in there. We know animals are going to be expanded slightly with horses, but it's not going to be typical horse breeding by the looks of it. It looks like they're going to be wild horses, perhaps. And we know there's going to be a dog, but we still don't know what the dog's going to do. Everything else looks to be about the same, and there's a few new crops, but in terms of the mechanics and the features, we still don't know anything. And FarmCom is just around the corner, so we might get some more details there, but I think it's Gamescom in August when we're really going to start to hear more details, a lot more details about the game. So it could be another month or two, a month or so before we actually really find out a bit more about this game and start seeing footage as well. It's still a bit of a wait to go, and I just really hope some of those features make it into the base game. The ability to buy bales. It would make starting a farm like this, in seasons, so much easier. It really would. So that's this bottom section completely cleared out the way now. Just got the main bulk of this field to do. This is going to be a little bit trickier because of the slope around the path. But we should be able to get it done. No real issues whatsoever. I'm just going to have to choose the right starting point for this combine, and then make sure that it actually goes where I want it to. So let's re-enable the straw swath again. These things are so slow and lumbering. And we're going to start just here, right on the corner piece. And hopefully this will also turn to the right at the end of this pass. Excellent stuff. There we go. That one's got about 2,000 litres in it. This one's got about 2,000 litres in it as well. So both evenly matched in terms of their current capacity. It's going to be a little while before we need to do that. So let's move this out of the way. We're going to start rowing up our first amount of straw. So I'm going to move this down here out of the way. Park this just here. And let's jump into the Puma. And we're going to take advantage of the fact that we can widen our working width. And that's going to be enough to get these 3 rows here by the look of it. Excellent stuff. Try and get positioned properly. There we go. Oh, look at the look at the size of that row there compared to what we're working with. 3 into 1. It's going to make a nice, good-sized windrow of straw there. I should bale that up nice and quickly. Time is starting to march on. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, as you can see. We need to get all this stuff baled and sold, and then baled a bit more, and then sell a bit more until we can clear them all off. And we still have our silage bales that need to be sold. If we can't get them done by sort of 8 o'clock, then we'll leave those and we'll do those first thing in the morning. That'll give us something to do while the weather's bad tomorrow. So I'm going to be manually positioning this on every pass just to make sure I'm really maximising the width on this. Let's just step it in a little bit more. We can go a little bit more. There we go, that should cover everything, hopefully. Just about, yeah, just those little tufts, and I don't mind that at all. So yeah, I'm going to carry on clearing away these windrows, turning them into nice big fat easy to work rows while the harvesters are going. Then we'll switch back and load them when we need to, and once it's all done we'll start baling and collecting and selling off those bales. So I'll catch up with you in a bit. So the first of our combines has finished his work. I'm going to fold that up in a second and get that put away. The other one's actually unloading at the moment into the chaser bin there, and I've got the Puma continuing to row up the straw. I've already rowed up everything on the other side where we split the field in half. I've now come back to finish off this section of the field. So let's just get this folded up, cleaned off and put away. And there goes the other combine, finishing off that thin strip. That's all that's left, about another 2, maybe 3 passes after the one he's on, and that's all that's left of the wheat. So not a huge amount left, not a large job remaining, and these are actually still pretty clean. I gave these obviously a wash after we did the canola harvest. They're still pretty clean as they are. Very little wet work is actually needed. Let's just plonk that back in. There we go. So we'll get this one put back in the shed. We'll finish off the field and then we'll break out the baler and we'll start making some straw bales. That's it. That's the last of the straw harvested. Sorry, the last of the wheat harvested. So it's just the straw to deal with now. Just unload this last little bit into our chaser bin. This one I'm not even going to bother cleaning again. These things are so clean. I'm just going to stick this straight in the shed. We'll break out the baler once we put the chaser away. Oh, I'm blocking my path here. Let's hold off on that for a second. There we go. So I'll get this in the shed in just a moment. Just going to move it out of the way for now. That'll do. Let's go deposit the last of our wheat and see just how much we've got. Bearing in mind we had some in here already. I think it was between 20 and 30,000 litres already in here. I think we've hauled off around about 60,000 or so in the harvest. Let's take a look. Oh, a little bit more than that. So if we go with, say, 30,000, that means we've pulled off 85,000. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit indeed. Right. I'll leave this here because this will need a quick wash. Let's grab the baler. There we go. And I've almost finished with the windrowing as well. So I'll actually just deposit this here and then we'll use this to go and grab the trailer. Let's finish off the windrows. I've got just a little bit left to do, as you can see. I'm actually going to double this one up once I've rowed it. I'm going to try and get that thin piece there to the left and combine it with the row that I'm doing right now, so that I'll just have 3 rows left at the end. That should all be manageable in one single pass. So this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Let's see if we can manage this. Have I got enough working width? Ooh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight. Yeah, we can do it. Excellent stuff. So yeah, just those last 3 rows there to merge into one single row, and then we can start the baling. Oh, there we go. We've just hit the bale limit. So we'll just unload those couple there as well. Get this repositioned. Excellent stuff. So we need to sell these now, so that we can then finish baling the rest of the field and then sell those off as well. So I'm going to go grab the bale trailer, and then these are going to make their way over to the barn. Although we could sell these at the BGA as well. We'll get digestate from these as well. Choices. I'm going to sell these at the barn. I don't like to process, you know, non-silage bales through the BGA. I feel it's a little bit cheaty getting all that extra digestate. So I'll just sell these at the barn, which is the sort of designated sale space for these. I have to be really careful on the corners when I have the bales sort of loaded and strapped as they are right now. If you leave them just attached to the trailer as part of the auto load process, then it's a really stable, solid weight and it's absolutely fine. But if you actually unload them back onto the trailer and then strap them down, then they become very unstable in terms of the weight distribution. And if you take a corner just a little bit too fast, you're on your side. So got to be really careful when we get to these tighter corners. Really got to slow down in preparation for them. ease round the corner rather than swing round it. Otherwise we are going to end up with a bit of a mess. Now the barn sale point is really close. It's just past these trees is the turn off. Just coming up here. And there's a couple of really tight turns here as well, so again, take these slow and be careful not to overdo it. It's quite a bumpy access way in as well. So there we go. Just under $400 per bale. That's given us a nice little cash boost. I've got to do this one more time just to clear away the bales that are currently on the field. Then we've got to finish baling the rest of that field. Probably have to sell another 2, possibly even 3 trailers worth of bales. So that's going to be a nice little cash boost for us, and that money's going to go straight back into my my overdraft, help reduce my my daily debt when my loan payment comes out at the end of the night. So I'll carry on loading, selling and baling, and once it's all done I will catch up with you then for a final tally. So I'm shipping the last of these straw bales over to the barn right now, as you can see. I've got 6 on the back of this trailer. We've done 3 full trailers already and got just under a 10,000 per trailer. So our finances are looking a lot healthier, around 30 grand in the bank plus these 6 to go as well. Let's see how much we end up with. There we go, an extra couple of grand on top of that as well. So yeah, a very productive day. Oops, I've got caught on the fence. There we go. We've made a nice a little bit of cash, which is very much needed. It's going to go straight in the bank. So 30 grand of that 32 will go straight into the bank to help reduce our overdraft down a little bit, make it slightly over 420,000, I think, maybe 425. That'll be our overdraft at this point. Tomorrow we'll be selling off all those silage bales. We'll do that in the morning. Then we'll pick up our slurry tanker with the additional front tank as well, and then we'll cultivate and slurry our 2 fields that are sort of now harvested and ready to go. I really am curious to see just how much money and digestate we're going to get from our fields. I'm hoping it's going to be from our bales. I'm hoping it's going to be quite a bit. But yeah, another productive day, another field harvested, and some extra cash in our pocket. We've also picked up a Wopster, and we're looking good for tomorrow. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I'm Jim Bob, and I'll be back with another episode of Lone Oak very soon.